Guys, welcome to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mystic Raven. Okay, so this is going to be my second stream for the day. I just got back, had some things I had to do. All right, I did just one video, just with a quick run. I'm still working on trying to get things done. On this stream, I'm just going to go ahead and go over a couple of things that's been going on. Over at Fing Rush's video. We've been talking about diminishing returns, all these changes being implemented. Me and Outcast been going back and forth and whatever. Which, he's said he's going to be, after this new update, he's going to be paying attention to diminishing returns. I'm not going to sit here and bash on Outcast today. All right? I mean, it is what it is, guys. We have diminishing returns in this system. Okay, it is what it is. They're implementing more extreme diminishing returns, right? And if there's anybody I think I owe an apology to, it's probably Fang Rush for having so much drama on his channel at this moment. But with this new update, and I'll tell players this, I'm vindicated. It vindicates everything I've been telling my viewers for a while now about diminishing returns. It's relevant. It just is. In 20 years of MMOing, this is the first game where I've seen the YouTubers ignore diminishing returns. I've never seen it. Usually we used to take that shit pretty serious. I was a former elitist. In this game, I don't try to be an elitist. I don't want to cover certain content. I play the game as the devs intended it. I try to cover builds that players aren't expecting. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to show other options. I'm not saying my builds are better. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I don't ever say any of that. I'm an asshole, but I'm not a dick, okay? There's a huge difference here, guys. I never wanted to be a YouTuber, okay? Never wanted to be one. I just kind of put myself in this position to help educate some players on what you can do in this game. And ZOS has made it completely possible for every class to play every role. They've done such a good job with some of these changes implemented. I know a lot of players have been crying and whining about the changes to resource management. I understand everybody's concern, but like a lot of people are like, I'm going to quit. Rage quitting isn't going to solve these issues because, here's what I always tell people: if you walk away without saying anything, you're not getting anything across to anybody, right, guys? Nobody's going to know what the hell you're talking about if you don't talk. You have to speak up and let your voice be heard. If you walk away from this game, nobody's hearing your voice. They just, okay, you quit because you don't like it. You never explain why. Staying with something and shouting, even though they might not like what you're shouting, at least you're being heard. So I encourage players, if there's something you don't like, say it. But in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, something had to be done. Right, and once again, it comes back down, and I agree with Fang Rush on this. The CP system needs an overhaul. Now, I was going through the champion system. My mic was having a couple of problems, and this is kind of my idea of how they can fix this. So let's go into this. All right. So if the devs wanted to fix the CP system. Now, this is my suggestion. Now, they're putting more extreme diminishing returns across the board. So, they're getting rid of a few things in the resource management in the green tree. And it's concern, right? But let's take a look. Some people have said, well, your damage isn't going to change. That's not the case, guys. All right, that is not the case. The diminishing rates are going to be more effective towards the stack. It always has been, but it's even going to be more noticeable. Fang is saying the CP system needs overhauled. I agree 100 fucking percent with this. And this is my suggestion of how you could fix it, potentially. Now, as you can see, there are 4 different passes that you can acquire, right? And then there's 4 placement points. So, in my opinion, what you do is you give a certain passive per allegation for each according point, each one that you can put points in. So hypothetically, I'm a healer. I got 60 into blessed, right? Now I'm not max CP, but let's say if at 20 points, I unlock Arcane Well. That corresponds with this. So it'd be kind of like the Skyrim setup in a certain way. So after 20 points, I automatically get Arcane Well. So low CP healers are going to get that. After Elfborn, 20 points, you would get Spell Precision. After 20 points in an Elemental Expert, you would go ahead and get Vengeance, and then or Foresight. And after so many points in Erosion, you would get Vengeance. You can correlate these passives into low CP distribution in your point placement. Okay, that's my suggestion. How you could give lower players these passives, and and keep their builds viable. And then you can introduce CP into the battleground system. It can be done like that. All right, it can be. And you wouldn't have to completely rehaul everything, because these passives would be picked up even by low CP players and completely keep it viable, right? So in my opinion, that's a solution. It's a solution. So, and then of course you can take into effect the diminishing rate. Now, each tree is going to be different on the diminishing rate. I don't know what the diminishing rate is going to be. I don't know. I have no idea. But like it was mentioned, there are people who have calculators out there. Now, depending on each of my builds, I will play with everything manually, make readjustments as I see fit, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish in my champion distribution. That's what I'm trying to do. So my configurations are different for each of my builds, okay? Because whether or not I'm throwing up, how many dots am I throwing up? Do I need points in the thermiters? Do I need to, not? Because at this point, everybody's stacking. They're ignoring the law of diminishing marginal returns, okay? They're ignoring it, but it's called a law for a reason, all right? You can't, it's there, It is. And it's not just in your CP. So you have diminishing returns on traits. You have also diminishing return on crit value in this game. And it's just underlined in this game. And a lot of people are like, and I'll let you guys know. People are going to be like, well, why are there diminishing returns in class-based MMOs? Diminishing returns, okay. Imagine you have to balance out classes. Okay, each class is different. Their passes are different, right, guys? So how do you make adjustments to balance the difference? How do you do that? Because each class is built different, their passives are different, so their point distribution is going to be different. So the only way you can balance the difference out in that equation is by introducing diminishing returns, depending on each build. That's how you have to keep things. It's like a check and balance system within each class. Okay, that's why you have diminishing returns in class-based MMOs, because in sandbox MMOs you have what they call is a hard cap, right? It's a hard cap. Meaning once you hit a certain point, you can't progress any further. There's no diminishing effects in sandbox MMOs because of the hard cap. Now, once you remove any hard cap system, you have to introduce diminishing returns as a way of balancing out the difference. It has to be applied. That is what has to occur. Now it doesn't. Oh my god, I'm froze. No. Oh my god, ZOS, what in the heck? I am froze up. Let me check my feed here, guys. There we go. I'm telling you. So once again, man, it is what it is. First off, I want to thank my fans and my viewers, because you guys are on the forefront of all these changes. You guys are going to be the ones to say, you know what, Mystic's been saying this from the get about diminishing returns. He's been telling us for the entire time about diminishing returns, viability in optional builds, and now people are taking notice of the warden's optional builds, even though the devs have implemented that with every current class as it is anyways. So this is why I've had my back against the wall since day one, guys. Since day one. So all my viewers already know what I do. And my biggest fear is a lot of reasons why I don't cover certain content, and I'll be forthcoming on this, is I don't want people to misconceptualize something and take it as an absolute. There's a reason why I will never say the words best in slot. There's a reason why I will never say this is better than this. There's reasons. Because in a game like this, you can't say that. You're getting ready to bite yourself in the ass when somebody comes around and proves you wrong. You can't say that. You just can't. You cannot say that. There are different ways to obtain your goals in a game like this. And I want to stress that. There are, you can accomplish so many different things in this type of MMO. And even though the upcoming changes seem a little dramatic, it's because, once again, things have gotten a little out of control. So they're bringing in things to place, like DPS. DPS now has no sustain to it. It's almost all built to burst, right? Even your heavy and dot builds are almost built to a burst effect. Right, even with the applied effects. So how do you do that? You're going to have to force your DPS to marginalize their damage output. How do you do that? You have to put sustain in there. You're going to have to force them to take a secondary set that has sustain. And then you're also setting up for the warden, who applies these different effects for their party members. It goes hand in hand, guys. That's all it's doing, man. And ZeniMax developers are not ignorant. These guys are developers for a reason. They are understanding of what has to happen to kind of balance the equation a little bit. And unfortunately, it may seem extreme, but it's a necessity. Now, rage quitting is not going to help that. Is there going to be some things that they're going to have to take issues on and maybe make readjustments? Of course. But I encourage all of you to stay with it. Stay with ZeniMax. They really push out a good product. It has a couple of bugs here and there, and we all know that. But what they've done in the last year since I've even joined Elder Scrolls has been tremendous. They've made leaps and bounds in more than any of their competitors. Right? And you can take a look at any other MMO. No other MMO is advancing and making these adaptations as quick as ZOS is. So, I'm not trying to be a fanboy. I'm just stating the fact. I've tested for a lot of companies. I have played a lot of games. And ZeniMax developers, as much as I'll even get frustrated with them, are definitely working diligently. And it shows. It really does show. But once again, I'm going to agree with Fang Rush. Something has to be done with the CP system. At the moment, it's not interesting. The higher end CP players are having an advantage. They're not going to have a CP Battlegrounds because of these problems. And what I'm suggesting, what I just suggested, is an option. It's an option for the developers. Are they going to implement that? I'm not saying they will. I'm not going to say that they're going to. But it definitely would, implement that type of, alternate advancement without having to sacrifice the CP system. So I'm just saying that. All right, guys. So I just wanted to do a quick vid. And I will say this for the record. When these other YouTubers start distributing their CP system without the stack, remember who told you first. Remember who told you first, guys. It wasn't them. It was not those guys first who was telling you that. All right? I'm not naming specific names. You all know who it is. You all know who are stacking CP, who told you to do this shit, and who told you not to do that. Remember it. All right, guys? I'm going to say that for a record. And thank you, ZOS, for vindicating my point with the CP system. I do want to thank everybody for watching, and once again and always, have a nice day.